Today on Modelsearch. This is Dwight Griffith speaking. I'm the president of TriStar, and I appreciate everyone attending. Also on the line with me with Gerhard Schwab from TECHSOFT, who's going to be doing the presentation today. So with that, Gerhard, I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end of the presentation.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Dwight, for the introduction, and we are happy today to can show you a very revolutionary new solution fully integrated into the PTC PLM suite Windchill and as well in Creo. So we are really proud to have you today here, and with me I just jump in the agenda. What have we planned in the next 45 minutes? So first of all, we will show a little bit the background and how and why we are partnering with TriStar in the United States right now. My name is Gerhard Schwab. I'm responsible as a partner manager worldwide for our add-on solutions within TECHSOFT, and for me it's a pleasure today to show you some customer success stories and especially what is the value and the benefit and advantages for you in using Modelsearch. My colleague Daniel Hinger later on will give us a live presentation of Modelsearch with Creo and Windchill, and we will end with a question and answer session. During the whole webinar you can ask questions in the question area. For those who are attend first time webinar, you will find it on the right bottom side. There is the question area, and so feel free to ask questions. We will later on summarize and send you a feedback on your questions. So that it is not anonymous anymore, so you can see how we are looking. And so my colleague Daniel is out of our headquarters in Linz. I'm today here in Salzburg, very close to the skiing alpine areas of Hermann Mayer and so on, of Herminator. And we have today snow and beautiful weather conditions. But let's look on the global side. So why we are partnering with TriStar? We have a lot of very large customers where we, within this PLM Elite organization, can support with the same technologies, with the same best practices, our end customers. And even if you are not a global organized or global placed organization, we take care about that all of our resellers have the skills and can do the implementation and giving the support very professional to our solutions, so that you have on a day-to-day business really the support what you need, that everything is running very fine and you can use the full advantage of the add-on solutions. Who we are? So we are over 30 years in the market right now, and we started with HB on MI10 and Solid Designer almost in 1988, and in 91 we got the first PTC reseller in Europe, and right now we are handling over 2,200 customers directly in our area. But with our add-on solutions we have more than 28 resellers worldwide, and so we are happy that TriStar is now as well partnering with you, so that you have the ability to come in all of these advantages. We have some additional add-on solutions, and for those I have seen some of you are also using the former co-create products. That means Creo Element Direct, Modeling and Model Manager. We are offering all of these solutions, what you can see here, for both worlds. That means for the former co-create product line and as well for the PTC Classic products like Creo Parametric and Windchill. Everything started in the middle, what you can see here with Creo Solid Power, or you maybe know it as part library on the PTC price book. So we are more than 20 years a product development partner of PTC, and therefore we have all these certifications and a very tight integration to the product development team of PTC. When we started with the idea in having a 3D geometrical search solution in 2009, we were in contact with all of the product line managers from PTC and with the management if PTC also will show up with such a solution, because then it would have not make sense for us really to start in developing and spending money and time in a solution like this geometrical similarity search. But PTC give us a written confirmation that they will not introduce a similarity search solution by themselves, and that's why we spend it here time and money. And what is now the output and what is really the solution of Modelsearch? When we started in 2009 and 2010, we asked a lot of customers of us and other prospects, what would you like to have within such a global geometrical similarity search solution? What must be in this solution first of all? And what all we heard was at least 5 really KO criteria. First of all the same information come back was it must be an automatical design support, so that really our designers or I as a designer really have an advantage in using it, and not that I'm used to search. The second point was it must be very easy and fast to deploy, and we like to have a very fast payback on it. For sure, everybody likes to have that, but it's not so easy, as you all know almost. I'm sure after the presentation today you will find a lot of benefits and values for you and your organization in using Modelsearch. Last but not least, it's very, very important to have an integral solution. So we was also on the market doing benchmarks and benchmarked every single 3D geometrical search solution on the market before we started in developing our own solution. Why? Because for sure if there would be any solution in the market where all these points are fulfilled, it would not make sense anymore to go ahead. And what we found is there are good solutions on the market, but most of them are very, very high sophisticated and very hard to deploy and even very hard to administrate. Why? Because they are not integrated in Creo Parametric or Windchill, and they're all working with native CAD data. That means you have first of all of your CAD data to work with interfaces and to bring them on other neutral data formats like STEP or SET or some other ones, and then doing a geometrical generation of information. We have an absolutely different approach on it, and that is really the revolutionary idea on it. So as already announced, it's fully integrated in Creo Parametric and Windchill. We use also all the user preferences, for example, as well. So also the single sign-on, everything what you know in Windchill, it's absolutely the same what we are using here for Modelsearch. Really important is that we call it the geometrical footprint generation is done fully automatically in the background, and we have very nice and efficient tools in first of all seeing a report and can configure how it should work. So that saves a lot of time, especially the Leap Hair group was really happy to see that was their main goal in spending no longer time in doing manual classification processes or whatever. So fully integrated, that is for sure also an investment security for the future. So right now we are ready for delivering Model Search as well for Creo 4.0 for the latest Windchill release, due to the fact that we are software development partner of PTC and can test upfront before we really then also give the first customer shipment release free on that stuff. The point is, it must be a very fast return of invest, or the total cost of ownership must be very, very few. On all the benchmarks what we have in the marketplace, some examples, the KTM Sport Motorcycle Group, Liebherr, the Vestas Wind System Organization and others, they on the end decided to go with Model Search along due to the fact that it was for them exactly what you can see here on the screen. So very, very fast to deploy. Yeah, you have nothing to prepare upfront. That is really the beauty of the solution and of the implementation. Fully integrated, so nobody has to learn a new interface, and you also don't have to implement anything on the stuff. We change nothing on the Windchill object model. Also, that is very, very important, and everybody of you who doing a Windchill administration work knows that it is really crucial not to touch the Windchill object model. And as well, due to the fact that we are using in-memory technology and big data technology in the background, we can guarantee that within Model Search you don't have any performance issue even on your client side, that means in the Creo parametric environment, or on the Windchill server side. Later on we show you live how that works, and to give you a final information on a little bit the infrastructure, that you can see a little bit how it works. The engineering department has the full functionality of Model Search, and with the so-called Model Search Live application, they get a live information full automatically without any additional work of all designers, if and from a geometrical based similarity part is in the database, so they get this information. On the Windchill server there is the Model Search application installed, and within Creo, parametric and Windchill installation we use more or less the Windchill visualization services to generate the so-called Model Search footprint. These footprints are stored in a Model Search server. On smaller installations it could be the same server where Windchill is running. You need to have a database in the background like Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle. Both systems are supported. And as well, Windchill, due to the fact that Model Search is fully integrated in Windchill, so it's also for all the light users, or it also works, for example, with PTC Navigate, so that every single department in your whole organization who is part of the product development process can have all the values and the advantages in using this similarity search functionality and the results. Some customer excerpts and maybe one or two examples out of it for giving you a little bit better understanding or a feeling about that. So the Liebherr group has done a 6 months benchmark, and they have tested 4 different systems. They decided for a company-wide use of Model Search, and they have on different sites different PTC solutions in place, so we were able to win there because we have support for Creo parametric with Windchill PDM Link. Also we are supporting Creo Elements Direct Modeling, the former Solid Designer, in combination with Windchill PDM Link, or some of the installations are still on the Co-Create product line, so that means Creo Elements Direct Modeling with Model Manager and Model Search. And later on, if any one of you also is planning to do a migration from Model Manager to Windchill, then Model Search is already available also for this version. You have seen different slides. I just want to highlight one of our reference customer in Italy. The company name is GESSI. They are in the area of the sanitary industry. I have seen we have an attendee out of this business as well. They were very, very impressed in having Modelsearch in place, and the design manager and as well the CEO after 3 months of use of Modelsearch, they gave us a written reference story, and we're very happy that Modelsearch now brings all these advantages to them. Later on you will get these slides from the TriStar team, so don't worry, you get all the information. So I give my word to be in 17 minutes ready that we are jump in the live presentation. So we are in time. What Daniel will show us right now, you can see on the screen. And so don't hesitate to ask questions if you have some of them. I'm just looking if there is any question already in our question box. It don't looks like. So it's my pleasure to hand over the presentation to Daniel, and I give you the presenter link, Daniel, so that you can share your screen and everything is up and running. Looks very good.
Cool.
Great.
Thank you, Gerhard. I think you all can hear me, and also I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, that works. Hopefully.
Yes, very good.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay, so my name is Daniel. Just a quick introduction to myself. I'm an application engineer here at TECHSOFT in Austria for about 12 years now, and I'm all my background is doing all the stuff in Creo parametric or former Pro engineer and Windchill as well. And I've got the honor to show you Modelsearch today, live and in action. And I've prepared some perspectives on Modelsearch and how we can use that and how Modelsearch can help me as a design engineer, as a manufacturing employee and so on, to get my job done quicker and easier. And first of all, maybe I stepped into the role of a design engineer. I've got my Creo parametric in front of me, and I have to design such a bracket like you will see in this picture here. And what I will typically do is, of course, I create a new part, give it a name, and start off with some basic stuff. Doing a sketch here, maybe I can use this rectangle, give it some dimensions, maybe 90 millimeters and 70 millimeters here, and maybe 17 millimeters thick. And maybe I can do a second extrude. Something is going on in the right-hand corner. I don't care about this at the moment. And maybe I can do a second sketch. Maybe I can say here 70 millimeters. I'm working with millimeters because I'm used to it. So Modelsearch, of course, can handle inch as well. And maybe we can throw in some more dimensions in here. So maybe 20.5 and another one here, 50. And maybe we can use some symmetric constraints in here as well, and this one, oh yeah, looks good, looks fine. And I will step out of this sketch and say, well, 70 millimeters in 8 here. And what I can see now in this Modelsearch live application, I have not clicked any extra buttons or something like that. Every time I will finish up a feature or I regenerate the part, I can configure Modelsearch to look for similar models in my Windchill database. Okay, I'm of course authenticated with my Windchill user, so I only get the search result based on my permissions and privileges in Windchill. And what I can see here, there is something green on the bottom, and green means good. So I've got a similar model which is about 90% similar to this one I've got on the screen. Maybe I can do some more features. For example, I can do some chamfers here on these edges, and maybe, yeah, well, 10 millimeters, and maybe a cut extrude here, and doing a circle, 25 and 25, so it's easy to remember for me. And putting a hole in there. Okay, perfect. And what I can see now in Modelsearch Live, okay, the percentage of similar model will grow. So I've got the similar model which is about 97% similar. And well, that should give attention to it. So what I can do now, for example, is just right-click it and open it in my Creo parametric and do some basic stuff here. For example, I can do some measurements and see if this part meets my needs and if I maybe can reuse it in my design. Or for example, what I can do is I can compare it to the existing model as well. So what we are doing here is basically creating an assembly and try to fit the two parts together. So we are not using some coordinate systems or planes or axes or stuff like this. So we try to minimize the volume, and I've got the two parts with an overlay and can investigate the result. Maybe I can just unhide. And so I can easily decide if this part meets my expectations, and maybe I can reuse it. In this case, maybe, yeah, that part looks quite good, so maybe I can reuse it, and of course all the drawings are done and so on, and yeah, that's the best case. But what's the case? This part has to be, or meets not my expectations. Well, also good. I can copy the part. I can copy the part along with the drawing. I can just edit some dimensions, add some features, and yeah, I'm basically done. I have not to worry about any part numbering or surface finishing details on the drawing, or looking for a supplier or a manufacturer or stuff like this. So all the things are maybe done, and I have saved a lot of time in there. Modelsearch Live is also very or high customizable. So for example, I can use bigger pictures here on the side, or maybe I can put it on the second screen, or maybe I will only show results which are higher than 80%, for example. But for this demo, I've all lowered this value, so we can see what's going on there. Okay, great. Maybe I can do a second part very, very quick. So maybe I can create a sheet metal part as well. So for example, let's use this extrude again and putting some lines in there, maybe 100, maybe 30, and yeah, 100 in length. And again, Modelsearch Live hopefully will pop up in a second. Yeah, and what I get here is, of course, similar models to this one I have on screen. Okay, so it will work with any model you will create. It has to be a solid model, okay, but to be honest, most of our models we will create are solid models, even if we start with surfacing or stuff like this. And what you can also see is it's not feature dependent, so it does not matter how I create this part or where is the part oriented in my coordinate system and stuff like this. And I will show you this with a little example here. I've got the step file from from the internet. I've downloaded this from a supplier homepage, and I can import this in my Creo. And what you can see here is, okay, it's just an dump model, so I've got only this import feature here, but Modelsearch will give me a result about similar models in my Windchill database. How is this done? Gerhard talked about the geometrical footprint, and I can show you this in here. So basically what we are doing is I try to mark this. No, that's not so. Yeah, now. So we are basically gathering geometrical information like the bounding box dimensions or the moments of inertia or the number of cylindrical and planar surfaces and stuff like this. So there are about 40 parameters or attributes in there. And all of these attributes are automatically pulled from the model. So I, as a design engineer or anybody in my organization, has to type in these values or maintain Excel files and stuff like that. That's not the case. It's all done automatically. Okay, perfect. So I switch roles, and I will minimize my Creo here and pull up my web browser. And what you can see here is just a basic Windchill environment. It's turned to green in the latest release, so we're looking at the Windchill 11. And maybe I'm in the manufacturing department. I have to manufacture this part I've pulled up, or maybe I'm in purchasing and I have to get some price or some supplier who is manufacturing this for me. And well, I remember I've got this part in the past, and I was doing some work on this, but I can't remember any name or where it's used or any numbering scheme. So what I can do in my web browser with Modelsearch is I can look for similar models as well. Okay, so we've got the tight integration with the Creo parametric, as you saw, and in Windchill as well. And when I'm searching for similar models here, I can see the search result in a native Windchill table. So you can all the cool stuff. You can customize the view. We've got this this little previews. You can sort it. You can filter it and stuff like this. And what you can see here, okay, the first part is the part which the geometrical search is based on. And I've got a similar part in here which has a similarity rating for about 96, 97%. And maybe we can compare this two together and use this nice gallery view we introduced with Modelsearch. And I can put them side by side and see, okay, there is no boss, okay, and look for differences. And you can pull this up in Creo view, doing some measurements and lay these two parts over each other and see where the differences are. So no problem on this side as well. And what I've done here is I've saved me and my organization a lot of time, well, because maybe I can reuse most of the NC programming, I can reuse some clamps or fixtures in manufacturing and stuff like this. So very cool stuff here. So I will close this down, and maybe there's a second use case in this Windchill environment. For example, I've got a picture from one of our technicians. He's on customer side, and he needs a spare part, so this part has to be replaced. And well, he knows nothing about this part. I do not know the things either, but I get a picture from him and this photo, and maybe I can guess the size of this part, and maybe based on this size, I can find this part in my database, in my Windchill environment. So we introduce with model search a so-called parameter search as well. Okay, and what is a parameter? Well, it's the geometrical footprint, so the bounding box dimensions and the mass, and basically all the attributes you can get out of the geometry itself. But we also can reuse external parameters. Maybe what is an external parameter? For example, is this part on stock, or is it an ERP numbering, or which material they are used, or coatings and stuff like this. In this case, I will use some parameters here and delete the first one. And what I will do here is I will use max, medium, and minimum dimensions, so basically the length and the width and so on. And maybe I can guess it, for example, 250 to 350 in length, and the depth will be, oh, well, let's say 20 to 40 millimeters and 5 to 50 millimeters in height. So let's pull up this picture again. Yeah, that could be based on the screwdriver and the sand. This could work. What I can also see, there are 3 holes and there is a big hole in the middle. So maybe I can use another one and say, hey, I want an inside diameter, and well, I guess it's between 10 and 30 millimeters. And let's try to search for this part. Okay, so now model search is not looking for similar parts because I've entered hard values here, and I get the search result, and I can look through this search result very easy because of this preview, which Windchill gave me out of the box. And well, the last 2 results here in this list look like this part which I get from the service technician. And of course, I can compare these 2 parts. Maybe I can pull up this gallery view once again and see what's the difference. Okay, so this part exists with 3 and with 5 holes, and now I can decide and talk to my colleague, okay, which one he wants for the replacement, I guess. Okay, cool. And based on this parameter search, we can also save these queries. Okay, so you can do stuff like this. I've already saved some queries and searches, and you can do user queries, so they are stored in your own Windchill environment and based on your username, or the administrator as well can save global queries so everyone has access to them. And I've got some queries prepared. For example, I can easily look for angled brackets like the sheet metal one we saw earlier. I can just search and get a pretty, where is the icon, preview icons here. And what you can see here, there are all sheet metal parts and they are all angled. Okay. Or for example, we can search for clamps. I'm using here some number of planes and number of cylinders, very easy. And what I get here is all types of clamps. Okay. And you can imagine, based on your product portfolio, you can save your own searches and queries. We've got some customers, they are heavily in weldment design and have different tubes and stuff like this. So every part can be described geometrically and can be easily searched on. What we are having here as well are a duplicate search. So based on your whole Windchill database, we can pull out parts that are geometrically exactly the same. And when I hit this button, duplicate, the search will take only a few, not to say seconds, rather than tenths of a second, and actually the search is faster than the rendering of the result in my web browser. So basically very, very interesting. And for example, what I get here are some duplicates grouped up. And for example, this part, it looks like a tube, but when I check where this tube is used, I can pull up this assembly as well and see, okay, maybe it's just a pin from a connector or stuff like this. And in this case, I would say, well, our design department has done some crazy work here, and the parts have all different names and are basically geometrically exactly the same. And in this case, I would say, well, that's a bad duplicate. Maybe I should take some action on this and change the lifecycle state and block it from reusing them. But of course, maybe there are some duplicates that were intended. So, for example, well, let's see here. I've got the plate here and the plate here. Okay, so maybe that's intended because they have different coloring or material or surface finishing things, and they are basically geometrically the same, but should stay on separate parts in this case. Okay, perfect. I'm seeing I'm running out of time, so I will hurry up. One last point, I will jump back to my Creo parametric. And in the last 20 minutes, we talked about parts, and parts. But Modelsearch can also help me with assemblies. For example, this assembly is from an PTC competition for students. It's called the PTC First, and this is a little robot, and what you can the wheel, and and maybe I can highlight this and activate this assembly. And Modelsearch can help me with assemblies as well. So what I like to do here is look for geometrically similar assemblies. Okay, that's my assembly which the search is based on, and model similar assemblies as well. Okay, so not only parts but assemblies as well. And I will finish up my presentation with one giveaway. All of the data you have seen are native Creo files, so we do not touch your Creo files, we do not store the geometric footprint in the Creo files, we do not touch your Windchill, and it's all stored in a separate database. So if you decide, okay, Modelsearch is not the right solution for me, we can remove it without anything, but I will guess if you try Modelsearch on your own, you will never give it back. Okay, let's do the hardest part of my presentation and it's back over to Gerhard.
Thank you very much for the great presentation today. We have some of questions from the audience. I have answered them almost in the question area, in the question box. I want to show a slide maybe where it is a better explanation. I have to check that you can see that. Yeah, that's fine. So the question was, is it possible that within Modelsearch we even can do searches with are independent of the Creo parametric or of the geometrical footprint information of model search? And the answer is yes, there is a possibility within the newest release. We call it external search or combined search. And one example could be that, for example, a designer likes to know, is this part on store or not? And this information is, for example, in the MRP or ERP system, for example, in SAP stored. So yes, this search is possible. It's not an out-of-the-box functionality as everything what you have seen today from Daniel. It has to be installed, it has to be configured, but it's possible. Next or another question was, how is it possible to work with other CAD files? And also here the information, the backbone and the prerequisite for using model search is Windchill, and within the model search new functionality, the so-called multi-CAD support, we are able now also to extend the footprint generation for the CAD data or the CAD systems what you see here on the top of the slide. That is possible. There is only one functional difference between what you have seen there. Due to the fact that we don't have the graphical interfaces to all of these CAD systems, it's not possible to have this model search live application for a designer. So if you are designing with another CAD system coming not from PTC, everything works fine. Everything what you have seen in the functionality, there is only one differentiator. It's not the model search live application for the other CAD formats. So I look on the watch once more. We have another 3 minutes and we are checking, do we have also other questions? There is one question. It is, does model search index the models automatically? A very, very good question. Thanks for that. Yes, that is really the beauty of model search, and it is fully configurable. So most of our customers are decided whenever they release a part or an assembly to manufacturing, then exactly with the same process, the geometrical footprint will be automatically generated. We are using therefore in the background a very nice functionality, and it's done very, very fast. To give you also a feeling here, it is for a large part or a very large part with a lot of features, for example, roughly 1 to 1.5 seconds, the geometrical footprint generation takes time. When you have assemblies, it's possible that you configure from which size of your assemblies you'd like to have a footprint, because it would not make sense if you are anywhere in a machinery or a heavy industry area that you are a full plant, for example, doing a geometrical footprint generation in model search. But it could be that you have a lot of, for example, sheet metal and welding design parts in your design environment, and those are designed part by part but stored in Windchill as an assembly. So it makes absolutely sense to find these assemblies, and so you can configure if you like to do footprints, for example, up to 100 parts in an assembly. And this takes a little bit longer, and that is just from the initial start point and generating of the footprint. It's important to take care about that. I have a look if we have some other information or questions here. Orientation, yeah, there's one good question as well. Maybe Daniel, you can handle that. The question is, just to verify, is the orientation doesn't matter?
Yeah, that's right. The orientation doesn't matter.
Yep.
So we are looking just for the solid geometry, and we try to to check where is the lowest, how to say it in English, yeah. So, well, basically it's not relevant where the part is oriented in my coordinate system. So basically when you are doing top-down design and using skeleton models and stuff like this, so that does not matter to Modelsearch. You will get accurate results regardless of the coordinate system.
Yeah. There's another question. Is it possible to pull in parameters for searching such as material, for example? Yes, that is also possible, but you must have this information in your Creo parametric part or CAD file or in Windchill anywhere, so you also can involve this search in the search list and in the result. And there is one final question what I can see here. What about piping and cabling assemblies? And that is a point I think what we have to discuss later on in a separate next maybe web meeting, or you get directly to your TriStar contact, and so that we get in touch with you and stuff that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure for us to have you here. Thank you very much for attending this Modelsearch live webcast and this webinar, and we are looking forward in having you on one of our next webcasts, and even more if you are interested in Modelsearch or one of our solutions. Don't hesitate to contact your TriStar team and us. Thank you very much and have a great day. And we will end the webinar for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.